What's going on, YouTubers? It's the Natural Born Thriller, and welcome everyone to Impact Wrestling Review, the show from June 28th, 2019. They were still in Queens, New York, at the Melrose Ballroom for this show of Impact Wrestling, where it felt like it was. How can I put this? Based on how I watched the show, this was like a go-home show to Slammiversary. And I'll explain why. And by the way, I should have mentioned too, by the way, from the last Impact Wrestling review I did from June 21st, 2019, Don Callis and Josh Matthews were your commentators, just like for this episode for Impact Wrestling, from, again, June 28th, 2019, Don Callis and Josh Matthews. Speaking of Don Callis and Josh Matthews, something happened between those two. Or should I say, with Don Callis? But I'll get to that later on when we get to the main event segment. Well, what being said, let's get right to the show, shall we? Okay, yeah. Like I said, this feels like it was a go-home show, but I'll get to more when I get to it. Just want to make sure. Okay, here we go. So, the first match was the North, which is All Eagle Ethan Page and the Walking Weapon Josh Alexander versus the Deaners, which is Cousin Jake and Cody Deaner. So the match happens. Pretty good tag team match. Almost like an old school type of tag team match it was. I see. All these two teams, and in the end, it was the North getting the win, and basically, who they pin? Oh yeah, they pinned Cody Deaner because they want to protect the big guy, the powerhouse of the Deaner, Jake. So. And he's good. He's pretty good, by the way. He's pretty good as a wrestler. Pretty good for his size too. But yeah, but the North wins the match, and good, because they're gonna be number contenders against LEX for the Impact Tag Team Championships at the Bash at the Bruin. I think that's what it's called. Basically, it's one of these episodes. I mean, not episodes. It's one of these events for Slammiversary weekend. Same thing with what pertains to Deep Impact, which is going to be in partners also with Booker T's Reality of Wrestling. So, can't wait for that, folks, by the way. But the North wins the match. You go backstage, we see Ty Bagri is visiting Rosemary in her lair. And basically, she discussed how she is not prepared for Mouse's Ball at Slammiversary. Rosemary informs her that even though they will be partners tonight, which the match that they'll be having against Su Yung and Havoc for this episode, I'll get to that later. She said she promised that she will give Rosemary a title. But yeah, Tabakuri says she promised to give Rosemary a title shot and everything. Basically, in the way she kind of cut off Rosemary in the way. And then Rosemary's like, Rosemary will protect Ty Bagri. Will protect Su Yung and Havoc. We'll get that later. We're to that match. Flendez. I already forgot his first name. The reporter, Flendez, is back. And basically, he gives an interview to this doctor, Dr. Ariel. The same doctor who was giving us an update about Brian Cage's condition weeks ago. Or I believe it was like a month ago. It's been a while, but I'm like, really? We're doing this again? And on top of that, his name is Dr. Ariel. I think he's a wrestler too, by the way, folks. But I'll get to that later. Um, Basically, the doctor said that Brian Cage is not clear. He may think he's clear, but he's not clear. And yeah, we'll get to that later. We see footage of Tommy Dreamer attacking. Moose attacking Tommy Dreamer. Excuse me. After Tommy Dreamer had his match at a House of Hardcore event, and then basically Moose gives Tommy Dreamer a beating, basically, and then basically saying to Moose basically delivered a message to RVD, and that was it. And I see myself, that was not a worse beating that Tommy Dreamer's ever gotten. So he wasn't bloody up. Yeah, so yeah, he speared him and then he punches him and that was it. And basically screaming at the camera, saying to Tommy, basically sending a message to RVD. I like saying myself, that was lame. And on top of that, of all people, he's only attacking Tommy Dreamer. They kept saying on the commentators, they kept saying that Moose is attacking RVD's friends. And I say to myself, the only friend he's attacking is Tommy Dreamer. He's not attacking Sandman. He's not attacking Sabu. By the way, Josh Mappy brought up that Don Callis is also friends with RVD, and Moose could go after him too. That was so fucking stupid. Whatever. Su Yung and Jessica Havoc versus Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary in a tag team match. Match itself, it was pretty decent. But unfortunately, it ended in a double countout, and then, the fight still continued on after the match. Also, there was a little miscommunication from Su Yung to Jessica Havoc. They was going to fight and everything, but Father James Mitchell comes out and stops them from hitting each other, and there you go. We get Melissa Santos interviewing Ace Austin about him losing to T.J. Perkins, who basically ended his undefeated streak, and then he basically says, that he's not being a member of the roster, so he's still undefeated and everything. But you lost. Doesn't matter. I hate this. But whatever. But then TJP walks up and says, how about we have a match again. And basically, Ace Austin was making an excuse that he wasn't ready, he wasn't prepared, because he was expecting someone who's a member of the roster of the X Division. He was not expecting TJP, who's not even on the roster. That's his excuse. But TJP lets him know next week. Next time hopefully you're prepared to lose, and I'm pretty sure he will. But it's going to be a good match too, though. But we'll see how that turns out. I think they should save for Slammiversary, in my opinion. But I digress. We go at the bar, which is backstage. The Deaners are drinking because they're disappointed that they lost, and then we get the Hit Squad walking up. Basically putting them down even more, kicking them while they're down, and then walks away by calling them losers. And there you go. So basically the feud continues on between these two teams, the Hit Squad and the Deaners. Let's get to Eddie Edwards at a church to go to try to make a confession with this priest who was there and his hand over his shoulder. As Eddie Edwards is talking about his confessions, all of a sudden Killer Cross shows up, and the priest was gone. So basically, Killer Cross had his hands on Eddie Edwards. Basically, the way they did, obviously, editorial, obviously, but still. And the Killer Cross basically tells Eddie Edwards, we're in church. You don't want to do it. You want to, you can't do anything bad, to me in church in here. And then Edwards leaves the church. And he said, but he'll be waiting for him outside of the church. And then Killer Cross sits in the church and says, I'm going to stay here for a while. And then the priest walks up to him, to Killer Cross, says, you want to give your confessions, whatever. And then Killer Cross is like, I have a confession, yes. And he says, his sins is to him, to the priest. And that was it. That was the end of that. What the, what, okay. I don't know. It was weird. So we get Johnny E. Bravo talking to all the referees and a couple of people about how he's close he is to Johnny B. Trash, that he knows that they have a strong friendship. And they're all making fun of Johnny E. Bravo. Yeah, you're his lackey and everything. You do everything he told you to do and everything. And he says, all, and then basically saying that, about the whole thing with Rich Swann that he did to him last time. And he's like, if Rich Swann was here, in front of him, you would take care of him too as well. And then also Rich Swann shows up with Willie Mack as well. And then Johnny B. Trash shows up to basically we get chaos breaking apart here. And then Mack and Swann propose an idea to face Johnny B. Trash and Johnny E. Bravo in the tag team match next week. In the next Impact Wrestling show. And Johnny B. Trash was like, "Oh, what do you think? I'm stupid and everything." And then Johnny E. Bravo was like, "Yeah, we accept." And then Johnny B. Trash was like, "What?" Oh my god. Yep. So it's good. So yeah, Johnny E. Bravo's gonna wrestle. Whatever, right? We'll see how that. I'll keep an open mind on that though. We'll see how that turns out. But I think it's gonna suck. That better not be in the main event, by the way. I'm just saying. We get Sami Callihan being accompanied by Madman Fulton. Sami Callihan goes up against Falaba, who's being accompanied by Scar Bordeaux. Which by the way, Scar Bordeaux was wearing a nice outfit. So the match happens. Match is over. It's being pretty good. Madman Fulton got involved for a while. He ends up being escorted out because he, and as he's leaving, this one fan was basically doing this to Madman Fulton. Madman Fulton goes to that fan. That fan gets scared. He's like, it was fun. It was funny. It was hilarious. I don't know if the Wrestling Asylum caught that. I haven't watched the live reaction on the Asylum because I wasn't on there at the time because I was working. But I want to see if they noticed it. If whoever was there. But that was funny. That fan got scared. He thought he was gonna get killed by Madman Fulton. He's big. He's huge. Yeah, if I was in that fan's position, doing that to him, I would shit my pants too, man. He's one big scary dude. But the match continues on. Falaba, man, he's improving. I can't believe I'm saying this. He's improving. Who would have thought? I never would have thought. So in the end, Falaba ends up losing the match. This time he loses clean to Sami Callihan. And that was it. So Sami Callihan also gets a microphone and basically says that he's the draw and he wants a male performer. I mean, he says as a male performer, he is already over and is sick of the knockouts, thinking that they're better than him, or in a way better than the men. He says middle of the ring. He says he's going to hijack the show if the fans won't be quiet because he's got something to say representing Tessa Blanchard. And then he calls on Tessa Blanchard. So Tessa Blanchard comes out. Tessa Blanchard is in the ring. She decides to Sami Callihan basically hold ropes for her to get in the ring, but then Tessa Blanchard decides to just jump over the ropes instead because she's like, nope, I'm not gonna cave in to your so-called fake kindness. So Sami Callihan says to Tessa Blanchard that you preach equal rights, and sometimes you get what you ask for. And basically also he decides to kick her in the face because of that, and proceeds to say that she that was okay. He says also that he excuse me folks, I apologize. He says that is what they're going to do to get if they want to be equal. And as Tessa Blanchard rises up and she goes to attack Sami Callihan, we get the Chris brothers coming out to hold Tessa Blanchard back, and Sami Callihan gets the baseball bat and hits her in the back with the bat to her stomach, just spits at Sammy Callahan, and Sammy Callahan gets her in the basically Sammy Callahan gets her in the pile driver, and that was it. Just the match was knocked out after that, and Sammy Callahan is going to see just Slammiversary as as Slammiversary. Main event match now we get to. The main event match is the Rascals versus Laredo Kid and LAX. And this match was pretty damn good. A lot of crazy high flying spots and all that from both teams. Excuse me, from both teams. Just a lot of craziness going on in this match, and it's good to see that the Laredo Kid. Last time I seen Laredo Kid was about 2 years ago on Impact Wrestling, and then to see him back on Impact Wrestling 2 years later, he's pretty damn good. I never say he was never good, because it was my first time seeing him 2 years ago. But then see more of him for the years went by, pretty damn good. In the end, Trey goes for the double knees and gets the win. I don't remember if he pinned Ortiz. I think he pinned Ortiz, and so the Rascals wins. Wow, that's amazing. And that was the main event match. As far as what was the main event segment, I'll get to that momentarily. But first, we get to this one. We get to where is it? Alright, here it is. So we go with Mr. Santos interviewing Madison Rayne about what happened the last time she went up in the ring against Jordan Grace. And then all of a sudden she gets interrupted by the Blue Flame, Kiera Hogan. Kiera Hogan discusses that Kiera Hogan came in and said that all the knockouts are selfish, and that there isn't really a sisterhood in Impact Wrestling. And Kiera Hogan wasn't full deep on her promos and everything. And then Madison Rayne says to her that if Kiera Hogan wants to continue being mean, then she can step in the ring with her and they can duke it out. And then Kiera Hogan walks away. Now I say to myself, in Impact Wrestling, you better not have her lose to Madison Rayne, because you have got a new look, a new hairstyle, new music, basically a new theme song, basically a new Titantron, basically a new path for Kiera Hogan of being a heel. If she loses to Madison Rayne, that's it. I lost all hope of Impact Wrestling, and I lost all hope of what they train, how they train their talents. And this goes way more than with Kiera Hogan. This goes with also with Eli Drake, Scar Bordeaux, Killer Cross, in a way Austin Aries, but we'll see. Only time will tell. The Rascals are backstage at the clubhouse. They're happy that they won the match, and Trey was like, saying, see, I hope you win, against LDX, and also with the Laredo Kid, and then it's like, now we're ready for it, and then it was like, well, actually, it's gotta be two guys wrestling against LDX for the tag titles, so they decided to have each other have at it in the triple, in the three-way match on the next Impact Wrestling show, where the winner of that match gets to get basically the loser of that match, basically whoever gets pinned or submitted, whatever, the loser of that match will not be in the match between Trey, Wentz, and Dez. So we'll see what happens for that one. Basically, the loser will not be on teaming up at Slammiversary for the tag titles against LDX. Brian Cage shows up, and his doctor Ariel shows up and says, you can't go out there, you're not making it clear. And he says, get my way, doc, and they close off to the ring. He goes to the ring, And he wants to call out Michael Elgin, saying that for trying to ruin his biggest win of his career by injuring him. And he basically says that you will not be able to stop and break this machine. And then the doctor, Dr. Ariel walks up to him and says, "You're not making clean everything." And then he gives him an F5. So I'm assuming that Doctor Ariel is a wrestler. I don't know where from, but I don't care. But Brian Cage, basically was trying to call out Michael Elgin. Michael Elgin finally comes out. He power bombs him. Michael Elgin power bombs Brian Cage. Goes for another power bomb. This time, and then he goes to roll. He goes roll out the ring and gets a table. Sets up outside the ring. Goes for a third power bomb to Brian Cage out of the ring through the table. So at this point, Brian Cage looks like he's done. Referee comes out. They help come to his aid. Also, I think we got ENTs as well out there. So Don Callis comes out of commentary to check him out to see if he's all right. Also, Michael Elgin, I guess he got a microphone at one point and says, to Brian Cage that he has no chance of retaining the title at Slammiversary. Michael Elgin, all of a sudden, he first he talked to Charles Matthews, basically yelling at him and everything. And Charles Matthews, how he sells it? He sells it like this. This guy is fucking garbage. Whatever happened to Josh Matthews, showing a little fear back in WWE. Rotates to, got that Brock Lesnar going after him, JBL going after him. Whatever to that Josh Matthews? Why is Josh Matthews also, is not trying hard enough to sell? He's fucking garbage, man. You got Big Michael Elgin, who's a monster in his own right. You should be scared of him, but and the way you sell it, you do this. Garbage. So then, Michael Elgin tried to go after Brian Cage, who's being attended, and then Don Callis was like telling him, what are you doing and everything? And he's like, get out of here. You can't, get away from him and all that. And he's like, you're actually gonna get fired and everything. And then Michael Elgin goes after Don Callis by beating him up and everything. And I say to myself, wait a minute, why are they only having Don Callis getting attacked? Why can't we get Josh Matthews getting attacked? This is bullshit. First time Callahan attacks Don Callis a year ago. Eli Drake chases Don Callis out of commentary last year. Also, Aries trash talking to Don Callis last year. For Battle for Glory. Am I missing anything else? I guess Michael Elgin for this year, but why is it only Don Callis? Why can't they go after Josh Matthews? I am sick and tired of hearing Josh Matthews. And yes, this may be at the ending segment of the show, but you still get to hear Josh Matthews. So Michael Elgin threatens to powerbomb Don Callis, after he punched him and he gets him in the ring. He's threatened to powerbomb in the ring. But then Brian Cage emerges up, takes off the neck brace, gets in the ring and fights Michael Elgin. And they start fighting, and then the show ends. And basically, on the way they did this here, and then with Josh Matthews saying, who's going to win at Slammiversary? We'll find out at Slammiversary and everything. And that's the wait a minute. This ain't the go-home show for Slammiversary. The go-home show of Slammiversary is this coming Friday. How is this a go-home show? This feels like a go-home show for Slammiversary. Just the way that Josh Matthews said it. And just the way the show was structured too. This feels like a go-home show for Slammiversary. But here are the matches that are announced for Impact Wrestling for this coming Friday. Dez versus Trey versus Wentz. Loser will not be part of Slammiversary for the tag team match for the tag team titles against LEX. Johnny B. Trash and Johnny E. Bravo versus Rich Swann and Ray Mack. And finally, Madison Rayne versus Kiera Hogan. So basically, Kiera Hogan doesn't even have a match at Slammiversary. Talking about wrestling for Impact Wrestling, the show from June 28th, 2019. Four matches, just making sure, and basically I was double checking. Yeah, it was 4 matches. There you go. My overall stream for the show, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 7 out of 10. So there you go. That being said, folks, thank you all for watching. For It's National Porn Driller, saying peace on the streets. For this was your. Just mess around. But this was your Impact Wrestling review. Take care, folks.